This is a presentation on visual design, legibility, and readability. I'm Abby Brown of East Carolina University. Readability and legibility are two important concepts in visual design. Readability is the ease with which a design can be understood overall. Readability refers to one's ability to receive the intended message of the whole document. The ease with which the text and graphics of a design can be deciphered is referred to as its legibility. Legibility refers to one's ability to determine what the letters and pictures are supposed to be. So readability is your ability to understand completely what the design is about. Legibility is your ability to actually read or decipher each independent element of the design. Let's look at some examples. Here's what I consider to be a good example of a readable presentation. The presentation is on the concepts of comedy and tragedy. We have some simple text for each component, I guess, classical comedy and classical tragedy, and we have some graphics that support comedy and tragedy. The masks are smiling and sad, respectively. Let's look at a bad example for readability. Okay, so here's a bad example of readability. We've still got all the same pieces in terms of text. We have different graphics, and the graphics don't really help us to understand what's going on. They're not illegible. We can see them and understand what they are, but we don't understand how they relate to the larger issue of comedy and tragedy. Now we also have some pieces rearranged here so that they make less sense. For example, comedy and tragedy, the title is placed at the bottom. We usually think of titles as coming at the top of a presentation or the top of a screen or page. This makes it more difficult to understand exactly what's going on. Here's an example that's good for legibility, and it's exactly the same example as a good readable example. Comedy and tragedy, the words and the text and the images, everything is very easy to understand. That is, we can see that there's a smiling face for a mask and a sad face for a mask, and the two masks together on the right side of the screen. We can read everything relatively easily. The text is not difficult for us to translate into words for ourselves. Let's look at a bad example. Now here's a bad example of legibility. It's not that we don't understand what's going on. We have trouble reading what the text actually is. We have trouble seeing what the graphics actually are. The graphics are presented in such a way that it's difficult to really know what they're supposed to be. The text is presented in such a way that it's difficult to read, difficult to turn the visual pieces that we see into words. So, quick review: readability and legibility. Readability is roughly equated to understandability. Overall, what we understand about the entire document. Legibility is the clarity of words and images. It's the ability to actually read and decipher what each item on the page is supposed to be. This has been a presentation by Abby Brown on visual design, legibility, and readability for East Carolina University.